Hi guys, I'm Miss Sarah, and today we're going to do something called acrylic pour painting. So we're going to be using something called the flip cup method, which is really easy and it only takes a few supplies that you can find at most stores. So your final product is going to look something like this, but everybody's looks different, so yours is going to look very unique. So these are the supplies you're going to need. 3 to 5 bottles of acrylic craft paint. You can see these are the colors I picked, but you can choose whatever colors you want. Just make sure you have a variety of light and dark colors. Next is plastic cups. You're going to need 1 for each paint color, plus a few extra. So I've got 5 and then 3 more. You're also going to need some stirring sticks or something to stir up your paint with. And I'm just using old paintbrushes, but you can use like craft sticks or anything you can find. Next, you're going to need a small canvas, something like this. You'll also need a trash bag or something to protect your surface. And I'm also using this box, and I'm going to work inside the box so that I can carry my painting around after I'm done. Optional things are some dish soap and gloves, unless you want to get messy. The first step of this project is we're going to put each paint color in its own cup, and we're going to dilute it with some water. That's going to make it more pourable and more liquidy. So it's going to depend on how big your canvas is, but with my small canvas, I'm going to put about 2 big squirts of paint into each cup. So I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to take my first color, this dark blue, and I'm going to put 1, 2 big squirts. And I'm going to do that for each color. So the next step is we're going to add 1 to 2 teaspoons of water into each cup. So I've got my little teaspoon here, and I'm going to start with 1 teaspoon into each color. This is going to make my paint thinner. Now I'm going to take my stirring sticks, put 1 in each color, and I'm going to stir it up really well. So once you stir in your water, your paint should look something like this. It's going to be liquidy and more drippy than it was before. This is going to make so it can flow around on the canvas really easily. So I'm just going to stick with 1 teaspoon, but if you need to add more, you can. The next step, which is optional, is you can add 1 drop of dish soap into each cup. And what this is going to do is make these things called cells in your artwork, which is like a little bubble of color. So I'll show you on this one. You can see these little bubbles of color formed because I added that dish soap. So I'm going to add 1 drop into each cup. I'm going to stir that into my paint really well. The next step is where we're going to combine all of our paint colors into 1 cup. This is where you can get a little creative. You can put them in whatever order you want, put as much or as little of each color. The only thing is you want to pour really carefully because you don't want them to mix all together. So definitely do not stir this cup together. So I'm going to start with some light blue. Pour a little bit in there. Next, I'm going to add some white. Some of this color. Now I'm going to keep going back and forth, adding different colors until I've put all of my paint together in this one cup. So when you're finished, it's going to look something like this. It already looks really cool. You can see some bubbles of cells starting to form. This is the part where you're going to want to put on your gloves if you're using them, because this is about to get really messy. So you can see I've covered my box with that plastic trash bag. That's going to protect my surface. I've got my canvas, my 2 extra cups here. So what I'm going to do is take these cups and stand them inside the box, and these are going to hold up my canvas when I'm done. I'm going to sit it onto there just like that. So I've got my canvas ready, I've got my paint cup ready, and this is the fun part. You're going to take your canvas, put it on top of the cup, just like that. We're going to hold it tight and flip it over. Just like that. I'm going to sit it down in my cups. Okay, ready? I'm going to slowly pick it up. Wow. Now, I'm going to carefully tip it back and forth. I'm going to spread my colors all over the canvas. I want to try to get every edge covered. So really slowly, really carefully, I'm just going to tip it back and forth. Trying to get each corner covered. Wow. This one already looks cooler than my last one. Okay, if you have any corners that just won't get covered, you can always take your paint cup and pour out a little bit of the extra to cover those little bits. Now I think I'm all done. Now, as time goes by and you let this dry, you're going to see more and more of those little bubbles, those little cells starting to appear. So even now, you can see more and more little bubbles popping out. So you're going to let this dry somewhere safe, which means probably not outside. You don't want it to get rained on or bugs or leaves to fall in it. So maybe sit your box inside your house somewhere where it's not going to get paint on things. And you're going to let it dry for 1 or 2 days. It takes a while because you have so much paint on the canvas. And you can watch it as it dries, and you'll see it changes appearance a little bit until it's completely dry. So that's it. Have fun, guys.